There comes a moment when a single realization slices through everything you thought you knew about your existence. It's not a gentle whisper, it's a rupture, a crack in the foundation of the life you've been living. Once the fracture spreads, there is no return. You can't tape the glass back together. You can't retreat into blindness. What you awaken to permanently dissolves the old life. And this is not an accident. This is the point. Most people exist in a sleepwalk. They believe they are alive, but in truth, they are simply rehearsing patterns. Wake, work, consume, sleep. A loop dressed up as living. They cling to borrowed identities, secondhand dreams, and recycled goals, convinced it is who they are. But once you see behind the curtain, once you recognize the machinery that has been operating your life, the old illusions collapse like paper in fire. The false life ends. What begins afterward is not a continuation. It is a rebirth. Part 1. The Invisible Script. Your first awakening is seeing the invisible script you've been following all along. From childhood, you were handed lines to memorize. Be polite, get good grades, choose a stable career, fit in, don't question too much. These weren't suggestions. They were commands embedded in your psyche. Even the idea of what success means was programmed before you could decide for yourself. Was it wealth, prestige, approval? Did you ever pause to ask if those goals were actually yours? Imagine living in a theater without knowing it's a performance. The actors play their roles, the lights shift, the scenes change, and you believe it's reality. Then one day, a tear in the backdrop reveals sunlight beyond the stage. The illusion collapses. You realize you've been applauding shadows. This is what it feels like when you first see the script. Everything that felt solid begins to unravel. The dreams you thought you wanted suddenly taste hollow. The roles you played start to feel like costumes. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The old life was never yours. It was a borrowed script. Burning it is not a loss. It is the beginning of authorship. Part 2. The Comfort Trap. The second awakening is realizing that comfort was never your friend. Comfort disguised itself as safety. Predictability, routine, and stability were sold to you as the good life. But comfort zones are not protection. They are prisons. They shrink with time until they suffocate you. Think of a plant left in a pot too small. At first, it grows just fine. But eventually, the roots coil around themselves, choking life from within. The soil runs out of nutrients. Growth halts. That is what comfort does to a human soul. It promises peace while silently starving you. Once you see this, every excuse built on comfort dissolves. You recognize that the real danger is not stepping out of the cage, it is never leaving it. Your old life told you to value security above all else, but what it really gave you was slow decay. And once you feel the truth of this, you cannot return to clinging. The old life falls apart because you see it for what it always was: stagnation wrapped in velvet. Part 3. The Revelation of Time. The third awakening is the brutal truth about time. Your old life whispered, "There's always tomorrow. You can wait. You can start later." That lie seduced you into postponement. But reality doesn't play along. Every day is subtraction. Every second is stolen without negotiation. Life is not waiting for you. It never was. Imagine holding a handful of sand. You try to grip it tightly, but the grains slip through anyway. That's your life. The tighter you cling to routines, distractions, or excuses, the more you lose. And the cruelest part? Most people don't notice until the sand is almost gone. Once you see this, the old life, the one built on someday and delay, cannot survive. The urgency is too real. You feel the weight of every wasted hour. You realize that postponement was the greatest theft. You can't trick yourself anymore into thinking there will always be more time. The illusion of endless drafts collapses, and in its place rises the fire of urgency. This is it. This is your one chance. Part 4. The Fire of Transformation. When the script burns, when comfort is exposed, when time's truth sears your vision, you stand at the edge of transformation. At first, it feels like emptiness. No instructions, no pre-written identity. no safety net. But this emptiness is not loss. It is space, and space is where creation begins. Think of a forest after wildfire. The flames ravage, the ground turns black, and from the outside it looks like ruin. But beneath the ash lies fertile soil. Seeds awaken. Growth begins anew, stronger than before. Fire wasn't destruction, it was renewal. The same is true for your life. The burning away of illusions is not cruelty, it is purification. The old life dies, but only to make room for the life that belongs to you. And in this stage, something extraordinary happens. The silence that once scared you becomes a canvas. The emptiness becomes potential, and potential is limitless. Part 5, the responsibility and the gift. The final awakening is the recognition of responsibility. Ignorance excused you. When you didn't know, you could pretend. You could drift and call it normal. But once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you are responsible. And responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Imagine holding a compass for the first time after years of wandering. At first it feels heavy in your hand, but then you realize, now finally you can choose where to go. Responsibility is the compass. It means your life is no longer dictated by scripts, comfort, or delay. It means every choice is yours. Yes, this is daunting, but it is also the greatest gift, because for the first time you are alive with intention. You are not existing by default, you are living by design. So yes, once you see this, your old life is gone forever, but do not mourn it. That old life was never truly yours. It was an echo of other people's voices. It was chains disguised as freedom. It was shadows mistaken for substance. What remains now is the raw material of creation. What remains now is authorship. You are free to sculpt a life not inherited, but chosen, not borrowed, but built, not asleep, but awake. The point is not safety. The point is not comfort. The point is not even happiness in the shallow sense. The point is awakening. And awakening cannot be reversed. Once you see, you cannot return. Once you see, you are changed. Once you see, you are free. And the only way forward is to build the life you were always meant to live. That's not the problem. That's the point.